Welcome to another program with Andy Combs and Levi Doherty. Dr. Combs and we've been working now for a while, a couple of years actually, on how to improve the value of our relationship with each other, with God, and with the divine principle. So I've coined this phrase, I am a divine principleless. And recently, when I was in North Carolina, someone asked me, that means that you have left the church. I said, no, I didn't leave the church. I don't like some of the things that we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do is focus all of my energy on doing the right thing, which if I don't know what that is, if I'm in alignment with the divine principle, then I know I'm in a safety zone. So that's why I call myself a divine principleless. Andy Combs is a physicist, a scientist, and he helps me along the way to adjust to what is measurably right. And Jesus said, "You should know them by their fruits." Um, I used to think that until just recently, I mean, just days ago, hours ago, pondering over the point of what is the value and purpose of religion, and I began to have more confidence in science than religion. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because religion can be easily skewed into feelings and hopes and dreams and ideas, where in science you have to have a positive outcome, or an outcome that you can measure, that this is greater now, you can move to another level. And it helps to balance out everyone. There's no hierarchy in science. If you invent a cell phone, the richest person in the world can get one, and the person that's on food stamps, the lowest in the poverty level, can also have can buy the same device, because the science has helped each one of these people, no matter how rich or poor, or how great or small, how more intelligent or unintelligent you are, you can use the same device. Religion is not like that. Religion, there's a hierarchy. There's some areas you can never get higher of, because the top guy, the Pope, is highest, and no one can rise above the Pope. So I began to think about religion as something that will fade out after a while, but science will keep us going higher and higher. If we can design religion to the level of science where it can be measured, and we can get higher and higher, and each person help pull the other one up and work together as a unit in partnering, rather than I'm greater than you, I'm your central figure and you're my underling, or you're my object, I'm your subject, that kind of thing. It creates some level of dissension and arrogance, and I'm greater than you, and that kind of thing, which we don't need right now, not at this time. So through my conversation with Dr. Combs, I realized that we can measure religion to a certain degree based on rituals. And it's not just faith, but these things actually happen, such as lighting of candles, or people do the cross sign, and some people, take off their shoes, they bow down, and they do all these certain rituals, brings about a certain spirit, and the spiritual invisible world is connected to that in some way. So now, that's the kind of conclusion I've come up with. And if Andy has something to share with you about this point, I would appreciate it.
Okay. Well, what comes to mind, uh, if we're talking about science and religion, I refer to this particular uh, phrase from Richard Feynman, Nobel laureate, one of the quantum field theory of the 20th century. He said, religion is a culture of belief. Science is a culture of doubt. It really struck me. So, what? But it's interesting. In religion, if you dare doubt the faith in your tribe, you are, you might, you're putting yourself in the position to be outcast.
be even killed if you're a Muslim.
Yeah, yeah. Right. So religion requires belief. The trouble with that is that it's usually belief about the founder, the one, not who founded the religion, but the inspired person whose inspirations gave rise to the founding of followers who tried to mimic, understand, or infer, or whatever, the value that he was bringing to the earth. Jesus, Moses, Jacob, Abraham, Muhammad, uh, Rumi. I don't know the Eastern religions so much. The trouble with that is that what is within you is hard to translate outside of you because words will fail. Words are a way to express what is inside, but what is inside is something really big, but the words are kind of small. Add to that time going from one language to another. Things can get really smudged and sort of pushed aside or swerved. Add to that people who heard it and didn't write it down, but then later it was written down. Was it the same as what was even said? So there's so many steps of loss of information that we don't really understand the message in large part. It is unfortunate, it's a reality of life. The science, on the other hand, is a continuous process, a scientific process, which is distinguished from a scientific method. Scientific process is a kind of culture of communication where you share ideas and sometimes results of experimentation and results of analysis. In that sharing, the sharing requires you to take human experience and cast it into a form that can be shared objectively using units of measure like centimeters, meters, like coulombs, like amperes, like speed of light, things like this. And people can sit down, like you said, and they can actually perform experiments. They may take a lot of training to understand how to perform those experiments, but they can do it themselves by virtue of training and answer questions that other people answered and said, is that really right or not? Mm-hmm. Whereas religious, can I really be like Jesus? Even if all of these things we now know, can I work back to what Jesus was really saying? That's hard. And once you get a tribe that stresses belief, you have to believe. And if you doubt in seeking the truth, then you're in trouble. So science is about doubt in the seeking of truth. I am skeptical. I want to prove it to myself. I want you to show me. Ah, yes, it was right, but only up to an uncertainty. How about the next experiment? Oh, I have two competing theories. They're a little different. They are both the same. And this, but my next round of experiments were very precise and could distinguish this theory from the other. So belief is always tested. And it's not tested out of vengeance or hatred or fear. No, out of seeking the truth. Whereas doubt in a religion is testing the precepts, which are really a threat to authorities that depend on that for their livelihood and respect. This is a big problem with religion. So I really like the way you, I don't know if it's right to say that that science democratizes truth, but it makes it available and its fruits much more easily and much more in line, it's reliably in line with truthful things, whereas the others might be skewed this way or skewed that way, claiming truth at the risk of your life and my life when it really shouldn't be so.
I think so. I thank you for that analogy. Also, what I crossed my mind when you were talking is that religion sometimes can put a person in charge of a group to guide them just because their rituals are perfect. They do the right thing. They have fasted and they've read the Bible 100 times, or the divine principle 100 times. They did all these things. They teach well. And because of those rituals, you measure this person as a good person, and you put him in charge of the movement or other parts of the movement, and say, and so therefore he's qualified. And in fact, that's not the correct measurement. If the person have not been able to carry herself or himself outside of the rituals in a principled way, they're not really qualified. You can teach a monkey how to ride a bicycle. You can teach a monkey how to type, but that don't make the monkey able to lead an organization or people. So what you need is a person who can judge themselves, listen to God, and judge the crowd to make a correct decision. And that takes some level of experience, wisdom, and knowledge, and patience, love, and caring. All of these things are important. And I think that once we figure out how to do that, we can get it done. For me, the only way that I can figure out that, not what my wife says, although she says a lot and helped me a lot. You do the same. I get information from all over the place. But in the end, at the end of the day, I have to have enough understanding of what's principle and follow the principle line, even though I may not like it myself or cannot justify it at the moment, but this is the principal thing to do. And I think that we need to spend more time on developing a principal way of life or principal way of thought. Somebody wrote a book with Unification Thought. To me, that was okay, but it was too scientific. I still can't live by that.
You're very abstract.
Yeah, I need something that I can
to understand.
Exactly. So, if there's any of us out here who are working on making the world a better place, using integrity, principles of life, then that's important to share that with others. And I get so excited when I'm talking to Andy, and I think, you got to get this. One of our jobs is to share what we know to others so they can help too. Well, today is a short day because we did a lot of work before we got online. And so we're just so grateful to share. Any last words?
I guess I was thinking we were coming to the end, but I guess what comes to mind, if we're trying to get a scientific or deeper understanding of the principle, we can start with physics, which is about existence and interaction, and the consequences of interactions, and they're very regular, lawful, and orderly. Ultimately, I think God built up the universe based on the similar or analogous ideas of existence and interactions. And if we can understand the principles of those interactions, the cause and effect relationship consequence, in terms especially of our free agencies and the world of the heart and the world of the conscience, that I think the focus on those things and the consequences of those types of interactions, I think that can help guide us to how to do no harm, but realize positive things that lead to growth and harmony. So I think thinking through interactions, human interactions, interaction with God, interaction with creation, I think that would be a helpful kind of path.
Amen. So if you have any questions or comments about what Andy and I have been talking about, please leave your comments in the chat, in your comment area. Let us know if you have any questions for us. You want us to cover a certain topic. Please let us know. We'd be glad to do so. We love you. God bless you, and have a royal day. And remember this, I'll see you at the top.
Okay.